Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, so awesome fun catching up with Kate Ceberano on my first day filming in LA, July 20th, and it's funny how it all came about. I was at a cafe reading LA Weekly, getting some ideas for the different things happening in town, and saw the ad there for Kate and Mark Isham, and jumped on their website, sent some emails, and next thing you know, it was organised. But here's some example of Kate doing her thing.
Your touch, the lonely night. She don't mind spending every day out in the corner in the pouring rain. I really love to sleep inside, crawling to your mouth, that's where I belong. Passionate kisses, kiss me, kiss me, kiss me.
Yes, there's some examples there of the unbelievable talent and diversity of Kate Ceberano. So it was fun to meet up with her in LA. She's working on something absolutely epic at the moment with Mark Isham. We'll talk about that. I got there, turned the camera on, and this happened.
Yeah, somewhere in Hollywood, West Hollywood. I don't even know where we are outside the Catalina Jazz Club. Kate Ceberano, how are you?
An atrium, and it isn't half a dozen men pissing in the background, but we are in a garden environment with a fountain.
Now, I was at a cafe last night reading LA Weekly and saw you're in town. So tell us about the show tonight. What's going on?
It was that LA Weekly was intended to grab your attention just right there and then and say to bring you down. Yeah. I'm very, very excited to announce one of the first gigs here of Mark Isham and I. This is performing Bittersweet. This was a record that we did and has been in the top, actually it's the top Australian jazz album and has been for several weeks. Dana Krall, I think, is #1 in the general charts. Yep. But you know, she'll have her day in the sun and then it'll be our turn, and Bob's your uncle up to 1.
Well, quickly about Mark. He's a bit of a legend, isn't he? I knew nothing about him and I read about him. I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
legend.
He's seriously like, he's the guy that any great filmmaker or director or producer who wants to make their films a hit, they go to him to do all the composition, all the background music, all the lead music for their films. But he's actually also a great jazz trumpeter. He comes from a very high pedigree of music, and I met him when I lived in LA here 5 years ago. Right. And I was trying to actually get a gig here to work in something other than just being in pop music. I wanted to maybe get into film composition, and I did gigs with him. We opened up the Sundance Film Festival about 5 years ago, okay. And then now we're doing jazz.
Well, your story with music, I mean, I can imagine you singing when you're like, 2 years old, but was it something like that? Was it always in your blood to be a singer?
Always. It was as if it was like a reincarnation. I sort of came back like a 50-year-old black woman. I'm like, where was I then? Right. And where do I want to go next? Yeah. I really had no doubt that this was the area that I was interested in. Not so much as music, but performing arts. Like I've done stage shows and I've done theatre and film, but music seems to be the primary communication.
Good for you. Yeah. It's been a pretty awesome career so far, right?
It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
I had a great career.
If you looked at like some of the highlights for you, what would they be, you reckon, if you could pick a couple of top moments where you feel like you've achieved some cool things? How's that? We're just being...
That's so LA at the moment, isn't it, actually? In broad daylight, some criminal is getting hounded down by a local helicopter. Only in California. Yeah. Let's see, some of the highlights. There's some early days. Bedroom Eyes was #1 for so many years. It seems so many years, sorry, so many months. But it was awarded the highest selling single of Australia, and we were able to go to Monaco for the World Music Awards, and there were people like Prince and Bob Geldof and Grace Jones. These are people of the 80s, of course. Yeah. So different now. But there are other highlights in my life. I've worked and sung with Isaac Hayes. I've done gigs with for the Jazz Nuts. I've done work with Chick Corea and Mark Isham, and some of the Peter Erskine, the drummer on the album, actually was, he's like a living legend, and in jazz, and it's hard for me to highlight. I sort of still feel so very much like I'm still in it. Yeah. I almost don't even want to name things retrospectively as though it's sort of like that's the end. I know that it's a bit superstitious and everything, but 25 years in the business, and I sort of still feel like it's some sort of 25 years young in the business. I can't sort of really feel that it's anywhere near where I've always dreamt it might go, you know. It's only just sort of just begun.
So it's been an awesome story so far, and this song had pretty much every guy in Australia in love with Kate Ceberano. This is Bedroom Eyes.
Looking back and looking at advice you'd have for other young people out there, so as a young girl watching that sees Bedroom Eyes on YouTube or something, and by the way, how hot was that clip? Smoking hot. How's your eyes in that Pash video too? Who did your makeup?
I did it actually.
It's awesome.
It's like crushing black into it. Like this. Actually, I was inspired by that character in Blade Runner, Pris. When she just spray painted her eyes on in black. I was thinking, I want them to look spray painted. First question, what would I give as advice? Well, if you have ever surfed or you are a surfer, and my husband's a surfer and something he's always, and Tim Winton, a great Australian writer actually, has just written a great novel about it. It's one of those things that you've got to ride the wave out. You know, you don't sit there being distressed that it isn't the wave you expected it to be. You don't sit there pissed off that it's not big or small, and you know it's too small. Or what you do is instead you look at the atmosphere around you and adapt to it, and you enjoy being a part of it. Yeah. And you never know. Just be awake and alert to surprises, because in the very, very next swell might be the wave of a lifetime. And I just think it's sort of one of those things you've really got to take a more Zen-like approach to it, rather than trying to force something to happen. Just kind of be as cool and kind of decide, I'm as equally unimpressed with success as I am with failure.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like the way of looking at it.
Just make it pure.
That's cool.
Yeah, because you know when you bust a gut either way, if you get too hung up about failure, you'll never make it. Right. And then if you get too hung up about succeeding, sometimes the sacrifices you make are too much, and you'll regret it. I know that for a fact. You will regret that.
Well, the show that I love doing is asking everyone about their dreams. So do you feel like you're living yours? And if not, what's the ultimate if you can live it?
My dream was always to be able to be involved with art and be able to do it for all of my life, not just one small window. And, you know, at times when I thought it was going to peak and I didn't think I was ready, I was kind of happy that it didn't quite go where, you know, like gangbusters, but instead just sort of kept me going, kept me in there, kept me in the game. Because now I'm living my dream. I'm at the age of 40-something. I'm absolutely stoked about my family, my child, my music, and I'm internationally travelling, and who knows, you know, this year I might even win a Grammy.
Good for you. Well, great to catch you for a quick chat here in LA, and I hope the show goes well tonight, and nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Yeah, so great fun catching up with Kate. She's working with some of the big legends in music in LA, and here's a demo of the huge album Bittersweet.
And you appear in all your splendor, my one and only love. The shadows fall and spread the mystic charms in the hush of night when I'm in your arms.
So there's a little taste there of one of the songs on the album Bittersweet with Kate Ceberano and Mark Isham. And that was the funny thing about doing the interview. I wasn't sure about Mark Isham coming from a radio background, but check out his website and some of the things he's done, the people he's worked with, the music that he's created for films. Absolutely amazing. And now working with Kate Ceberano, and you can check out that bittersweetthealbum.com. Thanks for watching.